start recording the session. Okay, so the last time around, some of the session didn't got recorded. Okay, so I'm trying something new today. Okay, with the OneNote. I haven't used this before. Okay, so just help me out, guys, in case if there is anything. Just you got to be patient here because this is the first time I'm using this OneNote. Okay. Oh yeah. Forgot to share the screen. Uh, so I'm just trying to figure out how can I get a blank page. Okay, completely like a blank page. Okay, it says sub page. Okay, but how do I get a completely blank page? Okay, so just give me a moment, guys. Anyone has used OneNote before? Can somebody please help me out here? So what I'm getting is a page with the lines, but what I want is something completely blank. Okay, so maybe this one here. Okay, maybe this one here. Okay, it's a personal notebook, work notebook, one notebook guide. Okay, the section is empty. Okay, so this is what I need. Is completely blank, but is this how it should get it? Okay, I think this is the one. Okay, so let me try out. This is the first time I'm doing it. This one. Uh-oh. Okay, so let me remove all of that. No. Oh, there you go. Here, this button here. Okay, now I got it. Okay, so project A, new section, and this one here. Okay, so let me go ahead, guys. Let me try this OneNote. I just bought a writing pad recently, so I thought of using it. So I'm going to use it now. So today's topic is web services. Or let me write it down using my notepad here. So there you go here. Okay, that's my handwriting for you guys. So what we're going to do today is learn about the web services. Okay, let me take away that. I don't need that one. Okay, let me delete that. Okay, so guys, as the name suggests, okay, it might sound silly, this definition for you, but the name suggests it's web services. So what does this mean? Okay, so if you look at it, it's as simple as, okay, hang on guys, one second. Too many things on my table. I'm just trying to clear it off. Okay. Okay. As the name suggests, what are these web services? The services, okay, the services, okay, that is made available on web. Oh my God. It's as simple as that. These are the web services. Okay. The services that are made available on the web. Okay. That's what is web services is all about. Okay. So Kumar, I've been using different websites, like let's say Amazon. Okay. Let's say Amazon.com. Okay. Okay. Like Amazon.com. Aren't these services which my Amazon are providing over the web? Okay, it is providing the services for me to add something to the cart. Okay, add something to the cart and then purchase it, and all that. You see, add something to the cart, and then it will help me to check out and purchase all that. Aren't these services which are made available to me on the web? So this is also the web services. Yeah, your question is 100% valid. As I've told you, yeah, the services that is made available on the web, you can call that as web services. So obviously, my Amazon.in or Amazon.com is providing services on the web to purchase something, to add to cart, to provide the payment details and all that. It is providing all those services. So those are also web services. The answer is no. Okay, so I have to redefine, or I have to what do I say, I have to refine my refine my definition a little bit here. Okay, I have to refine my definition a little bit here. Okay, so what I would say is, okay, the services which are available that is made available on the web, that's all right, but for whose consumption? Okay, for whose consumption? That's an important question. Okay, for whose consumption? Okay, so for whose consumption? So now let me take a new page here. Okay, let me take a new page. Okay, wonderful. So this is, you still have it. Okay, yeah. So let me go blank on that. Okay, for whose consumption is a question. Okay, so if the service is for human consumption, okay, is there a way I can delete it? No. If the service is for human consumption, we call this as web application. Okay, we call this as web application. Okay, if the service is for humans consumption, then it is called the web application. By the way, are you able to understand my handwriting, guys? I have a very, very bad handwriting, I know it, but as I am reading it, I am writing it. So are you able to understand? Is it legible? If not, I will go back and use my Notepad++ or Notepad. Please let me know. But please be honest, guys. If you're not able to understand, or if this is disturbing your flow, then definitely I'll go back there. And whenever I have to draw the pictures, I'll come back here. So what do you say, guys? Is it legible? Oh my God. Okay. Okay, God. My 10,000 rupees investment got in vain. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Let me go back to Notepad++ in that case. Okay. So, by the way, I've invested some money on that one, so I thought I'll start using it. Okay. So whenever I have to draw the pictures, I'll come back here and I'll start using this. What do you say? XP pen or writing pad, they call it. Okay. So okay, I'll have to use it when I have to draw pictures. I'll use it. Okay, let me put that aside. Okay, carefully. Okay, let me put it aside. I don't know where to put. I have a very small place here. Okay, there you go. I'll try to put it here. Okay, carefully put the pen back there. Okay. Yeah, guys. Sorry for consuming your time here. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, I'm comfortable here with this one, web services. Okay, okay, any services that is made available on web. Any services that is made available on web, this is web services. Okay, as I've told you, I have Amazon.in. Okay, I have Amazon.in. Okay, so isn't these services available to me on web? What are those services? Okay, what are those services? I'm able to log in, I'm able to search products. Okay, so it is able to display the products. Okay, all these services. Okay, and add something to the cart. Okay, so and then purchase. Okay, using any of those credit cards or blah blah blah, and then log out, and lot of services. Okay, is Amazon providing? Amazon.in is not providing all these services. Yes, it is providing all these services. So can we call this Amazon.in now as a web service? No. The answer is big no. The answer is what? The answer is what? No. Okay? The answer is no. Then what is the difference? Okay? If these services are made available for human consumption, okay, for human consumption, okay, for human consumption, then it is web, not a web service, but it's a web application. Like your web tools or whatever, like your web tools or Amazon.in, Facebook, LinkedIn, any web application that is there, that is made available, that is made available, okay, that is made available for the human consumption. So those are all web applications, not web services. But if the services are made available for code consumption, okay, if the services are made available for code consumption, okay, for code consumption, okay, then not for human consumption. We cannot consume these services directly, or you or me or anybody cannot consume these services directly. So it is consumed by another code, okay, then these are called web services. These are called web services. Okay, so yes, I know it is still ambiguous, this statement. Okay, what is meant by code consumption? Okay, I know human consumption, but what is the whole code consumption? Okay, what is that? I know it is a little bit not clear at this point of time, but as I talk about it, okay, you will start understanding that. Okay, you will start understanding that what does that code consumption means. Okay, when I said is available for code consumption, okay, you will start understanding that. Okay, you will start understanding that. Okay, but at this point of time, this is the best definition that I can give at this point of time. Okay, but certainly you will have a better clarity of that particular what do I say, definition as we proceed further. Okay. Okay, so let's come back. Okay. Okay, so now the web services, okay, web services can be broadly divided into two. Okay, there is an arrow mark, bottom side arrow mark somewhere. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so can be broadly divided into two. Okay, so what are those? Okay, what are those? Can be broadly divided into two. Let's look at the first one. Okay, let's look at the first one. The first one is okay, it is okay, it can be broadly divided into two. Okay, the first one is let me start with soap. Okay, so it's not your bathing soap. Okay, this is little different. Okay, and the second one is restful. Okay, the first one is soap, the second one is rest. Okay, so as we proceed further, you'll start understanding this one. Okay, both these terminologies. So at this point of time, you just need to understand that there are two web services. I mean, the two types of web services. Okay, one is soap. Okay, and one is restful. Okay, so let's start with the soap one. Okay, let's start with the soap. Maybe tomorrow we'll look into the restful. Okay, so at this point of time, at least we need to know the full form of both of them. What is this soap? Okay, what is this soap? Simple object access protocol. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I have arranged it correctly so that we don't have an issue here. Simple, hang on. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Yeah, simple object access protocol. Okay, that's what is SOAP means. Okay, yeah, now let's listen. Okay, and what is restful? Okay, representational state transfer. Okay, state. Okay, these are just the full forms. Okay, so let's not worry too much about them at this point of time. Okay. Okay, so okay, so let's arrange it like that. Okay, so the overall web services can be divided into SOAP and REST. SOAP is simple object access protocol. REST is representational state transfer. Okay, so I don't know if I can make this point at this point of time, but let me do it. Okay, so as performance wise, it is little slow. Okay, as compared to REST, and this is really fast. Okay, really fast. Okay, so obviously most of the people are using REST these days. Okay, so this is an interview question. Okay, which one do you think is faster? If you say that you've worked on both of them, then the immediate interview question is, okay, which one do you think is fast? Okay, so the answer will be REST. Okay, so then there is a question in your mind that if this is fast and everybody is using this, then why are there anybody using still SOAP? To be honest, very few people or very few companies are using, because it has its own advantage. When it comes to the security, this one is really secure. This one is really secure. So any banking applications, any finance applications, okay, anything wherein you think that the information needs to be safe, okay, they are using this SOAP. Okay, so it is still quite popular, even though it is slow. It is kind of providing more security, so it's using it. But wherever you think that security is not a major concern, the performance is very important, then people are going with REST. Okay, so yes. So again, when it comes to speed, this is actually extremely fast, okay, as compared to this, because it doesn't have any protocol like that. Why this is fast? Because it doesn't follow any standards. Okay, it doesn't have any protocol at all. Okay, so yeah, from here I'll say. Okay, so why it is fast? Okay, it's, let's say, not as secured as SOAP. Okay, let me put it that way. Okay, so it follows a protocol called SOAP protocol, obviously. Okay, but this one doesn't follow any of the protocols, or doesn't follow protocol. Okay, no protocol. Okay, no protocol. And one more thing that you need to know. Okay, one more thing that you need to know at this point of time. Okay, so some of the things I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I have to do it without proper, what do I say, background. Okay, but I have to do that. Okay, and this one, the information exchange happens with XML. Okay, so it is an international language. Okay, so this one, it can be followed. Okay, it can be used. The format is JSON. Okay, HTML. It supports a lot of for the data exchange. It supports all of this: JSON, HTML, XML. Okay, and plain text. Okay, yes, as some of you are saying, isn't it uses HTTP HTML protocol? Yes, if you wanted, it can be used over HTTP HTML protocol, but the RESTful services itself doesn't have any protocol, so it can be used over HTTP HTML protocol. Okay, it can be used over HTTP, certainly. Okay, it can make use of that. Okay, it can loosely use, I can say it can loosely use HTTP protocol. Okay, so these are the basic things that you need to know at this point of time. Okay, so quickly I'm telling you again, I'm repeating everything. The web services, any service that is made available on the web, obviously the Amazon.in or like Facebook, these are all the services which are made available on the web. So these are called web services. No, they are called web applications. So what is the difference between web application and web services? So web applications are created for the human consumption, like you, me, and anybody who has a computer and has a basic knowledge can start using these web applications. But web services are not like that. They are for the code consumption. So when I said code consumption, I'll come back to that. As I'm speaking, you'll definitely know about it. So the web services overall can be divided into two. One is SOAP and one is REST. Okay, SOAP is simple object access protocols. REST is restful state protocol. Sorry, representational state protocol. I don't know if in the interviews they would really ask about the full forms, but it's good to know. Okay, so when it comes to the next interview question, the interview question could be: these days everybody is using REST, not SOAP. What is the reason? Yes, because it's really fast. A lot of people or a lot of developers are going for the REST because it's extremely fast. Okay, it goes into milliseconds and all that. Okay, so this is little slow. So as compared to REST, then if it is slow, are there any people using it? Why? Because yes, the answer is there are some people who are using it. Why? Or some developers that are using it. Why? Because it's secure, and banking, financial, healthcare, etc. These domains, they need security. So wherever you see that there needs to be a little bit of security, they're compromising on the performance and they're using the SOAP. Okay, so here it's not as secure as SOAP. It's a little bit secure, but not as secure as SOAP. So wherever the performance is important and security is not a major concern, they're using REST. Okay, so it uses inbuilt SOAP protocol, okay, for communication. Okay, but here there's no certain protocol as such, but it can loosely use HTTP, HTML. Okay, I have muted him. Okay, yeah. I know people are hungry. They wanted a dosa. By the way, who doesn't know dosa? It's a very, very Indian popular breakfast. Okay, dish. Okay. So by the way, are you guys aware of dosa? The people who are out there, I'm sure they should be, right? Most of you. I think so, yeah. Okay, so for the communication it uses XML. Here this one communications, it not only uses XML, they have a whole range of things that they can use. They can use JSON, HTML, XML, plain text. Okay, again this is an interview question. Okay, so for the web services, for the communication, what does it use? It uses XML. For the REST, what does it use? It uses JSON, very, very popular and very, very, it's very concise, very popular, very easy. So actually, REST, whatever the RESTful services I've seen most of them are in JSON. Okay, but not always. It could be in JSON. It can use HTML for the communication, XML for the communication, even the plain text it can use for the communication. The REST can support all of it. Okay, why it can support all of it? Because it doesn't have a protocol inside itself. Okay, there's no set of rules which are defined, but for the communication it uses HTTP, HTML protocol. So that's the reason why it supports any of those, any of this for the communication. Okay, now we'll start with the simple object access protocol. As itself names, SOAP is a simple object access protocol. Okay, so which means that there is some set of rules which is properly defined for creating a SOAP request or for creating a SOAP web service. Okay, simple object access. Okay, so we'll go nice and slow. Okay, so far we went a little bit of introduction, you got a little bit of picture. So now we'll go nice and slow. Okay, now I'll ask you a simple question. I'll start with a simple question. Okay. Okay, let me see if I'm able to log in. Okay, I'm already logged in. Let me see if I'm logged in. Let me delete that one. Okay, let me go to my amazon.in. Amazon.in is in India. So okay, it's not allowing you. Where will I go? Can I get a website wherein it will say, oh, log in with your what do you say, log in with your Facebook. So maybe let me go to my LinkedIn. Okay, so let me log out. Okay, let me sign out. Okay, now let's try to sign. Oh, come on. Okay, hang on guys, one second. Okay, so uh, so somewhere it says login with Facebook or something like that, right? Can you give me a website where it says, oh, login with your Facebook or something like that? It's a Flipkart. Let me try to log in. Okay. SlideShare will allow you, or does it say? I'm just trying to understand, trying to bring up a website wherein it says log in with your Gmail or log in with your Facebook or create your own account. So I'm looking for something like that. Okay, we'll say slide share. That's what somebody said. So let me do that. Okay. When you click on login, oh, this is what it is. Okay, thank you, Srival. Now you see, this is a slide share website. Okay, this is a slide share website. And what is the option that they have given? They have given 3 options for me to log in. Log in with LinkedIn, log in with Facebook, or you create an account for yourself. Okay, so watch here carefully. I am there on a website called, okay, SlideShare. Okay, it's a completely different website, and what they have given me is 3 options to log in. Okay, 3 options to log in. Okay, so what they are saying is log in with your LinkedIn, okay, LinkedIn account, log in with your LinkedIn account, okay, log in with your Facebook account, or create a new account for yourself, or basically, or if you already have an account for yourself, I would say log in with your SlideShare account. Okay, so they are giving three possibilities here. Okay, now let's go back and let's see what is happening inside. Okay, let's go back and let's see what is happening inside. And I have a very interesting question that I'll ask for you, and that kind of gives you a background as to what are these web services. Okay, so I know you don't like this, but you have to what do I say, live with it, because I'm going to use it now. Okay, so let me create a new page here, a blank page. Okay, now watch here carefully, guys. Let's say this is my architecture of my SlideShare. Okay, so this is my architecture of my SlideShare. Okay, so now I am accessing this SlideShare from the front end. Okay, so this is my Chrome browser. This is my Chrome browser on which I am trying to access my SlideShare, as you can see here. Okay, I'm trying to access my SlideShare by putting slideshare.net. Okay, now I'm trying to log in. Okay, I've entered the SlideShare username. Okay, I've SlideShare username and SlideShare password over here. Okay, I'm trying to log in. Okay, now the request is sent to this app server. Okay, let's say this is my app server. Okay, this is my app server. Okay, this is my server. Okay, now I'm trying to, from my Chrome browser, I have entered my SlideShare username, SlideShare password, and clicked enter. This information is sent to this SlideShare app server. There is a piece of code over here. Okay, most probably there is a method called login. Okay, there could be a method called login. Which will take this request, and this request will make a call to your database. Okay, we'll make a call to your database. Okay, we'll make a call to your database. Your username, since it is a SlideShare username and password, this username and password is already there in your SlideShare database. So this login method or login user piece of code will make a call to this database so that it will get your username and password. Okay, and then it will verify, and if everything is fine, okay, it will allow you to log in. Okay, so this is something that we already know, right? Okay, this login method is nothing but a piece of code that you have written. Okay, that piece of code that you have written. Okay, so I'll say this is login method. Okay, so okay, so I'm going into little technical terms like methods and all that, guys. Don't get overwhelmed. Okay, if somebody doesn't know what is a method, so let me quickly write it down here. Okay, don't get overwhelmed when I start using the words like method. Okay, set of, okay, so the letters, different letters will make what? Little different letters will make what? A word. Okay, different words will make a what? A sentence. Okay, different sentences will make what? Okay, maybe a chapter. Okay, then a book. Okay, finally a book. Okay, so similarly a set of instructions let's consider a Java language, a set of instructions. Okay, the set of instructions will make what? A method. Okay, set of instructions will make what? A method. Okay, set of methods will make what? A class. Okay, set of classes will make what? A jar file. Okay, so all the instructions put together, you can call it as a method. Okay, so method basically contains a programs. Multiple methods can make it a class, and multiple classes typically make it as a jar file. Okay, typically makes as a jar file. Are we close with this? This is typically for Java, but most of the programming languages have the same. Okay, are we okay with this, guys? Are we okay with this so far? Okay, I'm going nice and slow. Are we okay with this so far? I want to hear from all of you. Okay, yeah. Okay, so basically what we are doing here, okay, you have a login method, which means that this method contains a program which will help you to log in. So since you are trying to log in with username and password, this program called login.method program will be executed. But over here it will say, oh, verify the username and password. Since there is a verification statement which is there in this method, it will go back to the database of the slide share and it will get the actual username and password and it will verify. If everything is good, it will allow you to log in. But consider this situation. Okay, this is all good. This is all good. But let's consider this situation. Okay. Now this is your client. Okay. You're trying to access from the Chrome browser. Okay. Same slide share. Okay. SS means slide share application. Okay. Now you have the app server of slide share. Okay. Oh my God. So I need to delete this. Okay. How do I delete it? Okay, I'm using, please pardon me guys, I'm using this for the first time, so you know I don't know like how to delete a certain thing here. Just don't know how to. Maybe, yeah, there you go. Okay, let me see if I can delete this. Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, now let's say this is the app server of SlideShare. Okay, now this is the app server of SlideShare. Okay, so this is the app server of SlideShare. Okay, so this is the app server of the SlideShare. Okay, so now consider a situation wherein you have tried to log in. You have tried to log in with a username and password. Obviously, with the username and password. But this time around, you are trying to log in with your Facebook. You're trying to log in with your Facebook username and password. Okay, not with the SlideShare username and password, but you're trying to log in with the Facebook username and password. Okay, now the request will be sent to the app server of the SlideShare. This is the app server of the SlideShare, guys. Obviously, the request will go to the app server of the SlideShare, not the app server of the Facebook. Okay, now there is a piece of code here, okay, which is the login method. Okay, there is a login method which will take that request. Okay, this is your login method which will take the request. Okay, now you have entered the username of Facebook. Okay, so it has the capability to talk to the SlideShare database. This is the SlideShare database. Okay, this is the SlideShare database. Okay, this is the SlideShare database. So it has the capability to talk to the SlideShare database. It will go, if it goes and checks in the SlideShare database for the Facebook username and password, will it find it, guys? Will it find it? Okay, will this login method, if it goes to the SlideShare database and start searching for the Facebook username and password, does it has the capability to find it? Or your database, which is the SlideShare database, let's say it's your database, does it have the Facebook usernames, passwords? No, it doesn't. All it has is the SlideShare's username and passwords. Okay, all it has is the SlideShare username and password. So it doesn't have the Facebook username and password at all. Okay, now what? Now what will it do? Okay, or what can I do? Can somebody please unmute yourself and say and talk about it? Anything like, you know, what is the possibility or what can we do now? Anybody? I'm just give some pointers. I know you don't know web services, but I'm just asking you, like, you know, can you give some pointers? Oh, Stivali says, however, we are talking about web services, so we have to create a web service. But just for our discussion purposes, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Okay, now actually the request, you're logging using the Facebook username and password. Okay, so now you click on that. Okay, now you click on that. Okay, you see, I click on that. Let's see what happens. Come on. What happened to my slideshow? Okay, let me open the slideshare again. Hang on guys, 1 second. We'll go a little nice and slow because I'm using different appliances. Today I bought a new appliance, I'm using it. So, guys, just have to be a little patient with me. Okay. Oh, I've already logged in with Facebook. So as soon as I click on it, why doesn't it sign out? Why doesn't it log out? Okay, so let me say login, and if I say click on LinkedIn, you see, okay, looks like I've already logged in with Facebook and I've saved it, so immediately it is logging me in. Okay, so instead of Facebook, what I would say is, LinkedIn. Okay, we're trying to log with LinkedIn. You see, now as soon as I click on LinkedIn, log in with LinkedIn, you see the LinkedIn interface has opened. Okay, so what actually is happening is the request may go to your method, but actually you need the Facebook login method. What you need is the Facebook login method. Okay, so now that you understood that it is difficult in these situations wherein when you say you wanted to log in with LinkedIn or you wanted to log in with Facebook, that particular piece of code is not over here, and that particular database is also not there in your app server, SlideShare app server. So there is some magic that they are doing behind the scenes. Let's try to understand the magic, and as soon as we understand, we know that that's not a magic, that's a logic. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so let's keep this story over here. I'll leave this story over here. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, now we understood that okay, there is need. Okay, there is need for some new arrangement. There is a need for some new arrangement or some new technology. Okay, some new technology. Okay, so there is a need for some new arrangement or technology if you are in SlideShare and you wanted to log in with a LinkedIn or a Facebook. Not just logged in on Facebook. Okay, I'm using these examples, but when you are staying in one website, you are making use of the services of other websites, so we can use that. In this example, in this situation, it's the username. Login with these services, which is the login services. Okay, so there is a need for some new arrangement or technology, and that is what we call it as web services. Okay, that is what we call it as web services. Okay, so now, okay, let me step back. Now I'll close this whole chapter. I'll come back to this chapter a little later. Okay, I'm leaving it. I'm hanging you over here, leaving this topic halfway, half cooked. I know, but once I talk about something else, all this will make sense. Okay, if required, I'll come back to this and I will explain this again. Okay, so now let me open a new page. Okay, new page. Okay, let's make it as a blank. Okay, now let's see. Can I draw something over here? Not just with this one, but maybe insert. Okay, can I draw a rectangle? Okay, fine, not an issue. Okay, now let's watch this carefully, guys. Watch this carefully. Now we talk about the web services. Before talking about the web services, let me tell you what happens in general. Let's say it's a Java application. Okay, it's a Java application. Okay, now we have a small method called get products. Okay, let's say there is a method called get products. Okay, so method means the get products. Okay, so let's say this is a method called get products. Now you tell me guys, if you execute this method, what does it do? What do you think it will do if I execute this method? Obviously this method has set of instructions. If I execute this method, okay, or the program, what it will do? What it will do?
List of products will come.
Yeah, it will get the list of all the products. It's as simple as that. Let's say it's a small program that is written. Okay, so it will list out all the products. If you execute this method, it will list out all the products. So in your program itself, okay, as I've told you, combination of methods is classes. Let's say there are two classes, class 1 and class 2. Okay, so this class 1 can call this method, this class 2 can call this method if it required. Okay, so if class 1 wants to get the methods, or it list out all the methods, so the class 1 can call this method, so it will list out. Class 2 can also call this method. So this is typically what can happen. Okay, typically what will happen in a Java program. Okay, now okay, now typically what happens is you have an end customer here. Okay, you have an end customer. Okay, he is using the Chrome browser. Okay, he's using the Chrome browser or whatever it is. Okay, somewhere in the browser, in the amazon.in, he clicked on a button which has to get all the products. Okay, all the products related to the laptop. Okay, so he has initiated from his browser saying that, okay, there is a button called get products, there is a button called get products. Okay, there is a button called get products. So he clicked on that button. So what happens? The request will go to this app server. There is typically an MVC framework which will be here. Okay, there is an MVC framework. Via that, it will go and execute this piece of code. It will go execute this piece of code. It will give all that products, and that products will be listed down, on this client. Typically that's what happens. Okay, so from the back end, okay, so sorry, from the front end, from the browser, you click on the button called get products, then the request will go to this app server. By the way, this is your app server. Okay, by the way, this is your app server. So via MVC framework, don't worry about MVC. Okay, but via certain framework, it will go ahead and execute this particular method called get products, which will list down all the products, and then it will show, MVC will show it to you on the browser, saying that, oh, this, you have asked for get products, and these are all the products on your Chrome browser. It will show it to you. Okay, it will show it to you. Okay, that's what typically happens. Okay, okay. Now, are we clear, guys? Are we clear so far? Okay, so now the end customer, this is what I said, human consumption. Okay, the end customer, which is the human consumption. Okay, which is for the human consumption. Okay, now this method, which is the get product, is used by a human or is used by another code? Is used by the human or is used by another code? This get products, in this case, it is used by a human or it is used by another code. You see, it is used by a human. The get product is a piece of code where who is using it? Okay, a human is using it or a code is using it? Okay, it is used by the human, because the human, whoever this guy is, okay, who is a human, has went to the Chrome browser and he said, okay, get products. He clicked on it, and then the request went to the app server. It has this piece of method is executed, and it will list down all the products, and then that is shown to you. So this get products method now is used by the human. So obviously, this is what we call it as web application. This is what we call it as web application. So I'm trying to explain my first statement here. Okay, so if that services is used by the human, it is called web application. So using this web application, you're using a piece of code which is there, or you're using a service which is there behind the scenes. Okay, so obviously this one is a web application. Okay, so my first definition is clear now. Okay, so let me explore a little bit. Okay, let me explore a little bit. Now, Okay, consider this situation. Consider this situation. Okay. Okay, consider this situation. Now, this is your app server. Okay, let's say this is your app server. This is you. Okay, this is you. This is your app server. This is your app server. Okay, and you have this piece of code that you have written. Okay, which is a method, which is a get products method. Okay, so this is your get products method. Okay, this is your get products method. Okay, you're happy you created this one, and you know these products are lying in your database. This is your database. Okay, this is your database, and all the products are lying in your database. So whenever somebody executes this particular method, it will definitely go to the database and it will get all the products, and then it will show it to you. If the human is asking for it, you will show it to the human, not an issue. Okay, you have written it and you are very happy with it. Now your friend, okay, your friend who is a fellow developer, he has his own app server. Okay, he has his own app server. Okay, so this is your friend. Okay, this is your friend. Okay, so this is your friend. Okay, he has his own app server. He has his own app server. Okay, so let's say this is app server 1 and this is in New York. Let's say this is in New York. Okay, and this is the app. Your friend lives in, let's say, India. Okay, or let's say your friend lives in Chicago. Okay, your friend lives in Chicago. Let's say your friend lives in Chicago and its app server is there in the Chicago. Okay, so he called you over the phone and said, oh, I looked at your website, it looks so cool. I really wanted that get products method that you have. It's so nicely written. Oh, can you give it to me? Okay, that's what your friend is asking. Your friend, fellow developer, okay, your friend who is a fellow developer is so fascinated by your get products method or the piece of code which is get products, and he really wants to get hold of it. And you as a developer has no problems giving that piece of code to him. Okay, no piece of code to him. So what would you do? What would you do? Okay, so can he directly call? Can he directly make a call? Okay, he has his own piece of code. Okay, in the app server, he has his own piece of code. Okay, he has his own piece of code, which we call it as application or a jar file. Okay, so from this application, can he make a call to this get products directly? No, the answer is no. The answer is no. Okay, so he cannot directly make a call to it. Okay, so what are the other options that we have? Is there a way that I can delete these lines and all that? You know, is there a way we can easily do that? Okay, is there a way that we can easily do that? So, okay, so now I've erased this database as well. Okay, and this guy, he has developed his own application. Okay, so he has his own database as well, but in this application somehow he wants to call this get products. He wants to use this get products piece of code, so he cannot directly make a call to this. It's not possible. So what is the other option that you have as a developer? So guys, are there anybody, I mean, I'm not able to hear anything, but you know, if somebody is not muted themselves, please mute yourself, guys. Okay, please mute yourself. Okay, now watch carefully, guys. So what you do as a developer who you don't have any problems giving it to him, so what do? You create a jar file out of this. You create a jar file out of this, and then you give it to your friend. Maybe you mail it to your friend who is there in Chicago. Okay, then what he will do? He will deploy that jar in his application. Okay, okay, he deployed the jar in a .exe is only for C programming, Ikram. Okay, if it's a C programming, probably it's a .exe, but if it's a Java, I don't think it is .exe. It's class files and then jar files. Okay, you can create a class file or a jar file and you can send it across to him. Okay, so you created a jar file and you mailed your friend in Chicago. What he can do, he can deploy that jar file on his application. Okay, on his application. Okay, now what would happen? This get products will be there on your friend's. Okay, so your friend has now get product. Now your friend has that get product method on his app server. What he has done? Yes, basically what he has done, he has copied the piece of code from his friend. Okay, now This get products is referring to the database of your friend. Okay, now you have copied this piece of code. If you refer this to your database, do you think it will work? Do you think it will work? Do you think it will work? Think about it. This get products is referring to the database of your friend. So probably your friend has a database table called laptops. Okay, the table name is new ny underscore laptops. But that particular table might not be there in your database. Okay, and that particular data is not there in the database. Now you have to copy the whole data as well. Now, not only that method, but you have to copy the whole data as well, which is such a pain in the neck. Okay, you've done all that efforts. You have copied this piece of code, you have created those tables, and you have copied the data and all that. You went through all that pain. Okay, you went through all that pain. But what would happen is now your friend will, according to the market trends, he will keep updating this program. That program will not be same. When he has given you it is version 1, probably 2 months down the lane he has created a version 2. Not only that, this data in the database he will be changing all the time. Maybe he might be deleting some products, or maybe he will be adding some products, or maybe he's editing some products. He might be doing a whole lot of stuff, not only with the code, but also with the data. Now, what do? So you keep calling this guy, keep abreast what you do. So you keep calling this guy, says, oh, is there any new version of the code? Oh, please give it to me. So now we have to create a jar again. You have to give it to you again. You have to deploy the jar and all that. Not only that, he has to give you the data and then you have to match it. So it's such a pain in the neck. This is not possible. Overall, this arrangement is not possible. This arrangement is not possible. Now, is there any alternative arrangement? Is there any alternative arrangement? Okay, yes, there is an alternative arrangement. Okay, so there is an alternative arrangement. Let's look at that. This is page 3 maybe. Okay, page 4. Okay, so let me call this so that it is showing up over here. Just I noticed that. Okay, this is probably page 3. I'm just trying to see if somebody needs it. Maybe I wanted to share it. That's why I'm putting it down here. Okay, now what is the alternative arrangement? Okay, this is your friend's app server. Okay, by the way, I'm not expert in web services, guys. I'm expert in the LoadRunner, but this is some knowledge that I've gained, talking to different people and all that. So that's the knowledge that I'm sharing, and reading a lot of books and all that. Okay, so now you have get products. You have get products method. Which is referring to the database. Okay, now this is you. Okay, this is you, and this is your app server. Okay, now your friend who wants to consume this, your friend who wants to use this, or your friend who wants to consume this is his app server. Okay, let me call it as 2. Let me call this as 1. Okay, he has his own database. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so you don't have any issues sharing with your friend. Let me draw some hair with you for your friend, because he's not working too much. He's taking your help, so he would have a lot of hair. This guy is working too much. Okay, he's creating all the pieces of code himself, so he has a bald head. Okay, so let's say that. Okay, now what you wanted to share. Okay, you wanted to share this with your friend. So what you have to do is you have to create a web service for this. Okay, once you create a web service for this get products, now what happens? This web service is still referring to this database. Okay, now what happens once this web service is created? See the magic. Now your friend piece of code, this is your friend's piece of code, or your friend's application, or your friend's class files, can make a direct call to this over the internet. Okay, over the internet he can make a direct call to this particular web services, so which is get products. So whenever there is this piece of code that needs to be executed for the get products, that call will be transferred over the internet to your app server, which is the web services. So your app server, your web server is still referring to your database. So it will create, or it will get all the products, and then that products will be sent back to your code. That product will be sent back to your code, and now those products you can show it to your customers who is using it from the front end. Okay, from the front end, from the Chrome browser, somebody said get products, somebody said get products, somebody said get products. Okay, somebody said clicked on this button called get products. Now what happens? The request is sent to your code. Your code realizes that you don't have that particular piece of code, and it is there in your friend's app server. So immediately it will make a request to the web service of your friend's app server. Your friend's app server will run this piece of code, it will get the list of products from the database, and it will send it back to your code, and your code will send it back to your customer. Okay, then this customer will be able to see the products, all the products. Okay, will be able to see all your products. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear, all of you? 100%. This is very, very important. For me to understand this, it almost took 4 to 5 months. Nobody there to tell me. I have to dig, I have to try, I have to see a lot of stuff, then read a lot of books. Then I got a clear understanding of what this one is. So if you understand this whole picture that I've told you, you understand the whole web services concept as to why this web service is becoming so popular. Okay, so popular. Okay. Sumati wanted me to bit confused. Okay, so Sumati wanted me to repeat it. Okay, Sumati, did you understand this piece of code? Okay, your friend wanted to get the get products. How you can do it? You create a jar file, and then you create a jar file. And then you gave it to your friend. Okay, he started using it, but there is a problem. The get products that he's copied is referring to your database, not your friend's database. So he not only has to copy the code, but he has to copy the database as well. So you went ahead and copied all that pain, you have went through all that pain, you have done it. But the problem is, again, let's say there is a new version of the code that is created for get products, and there are new products that has been added to the database. Again, you have to go back and update it. Again, you have to go back and update not only the code but also the database. So this is not a feasible option. Are you okay with this, Sumati, so far? Are you okay with this, Sumati, so far? Are you okay with this one? Okay, wonderful. Now, for the same reason, what you have done, okay, the guy with the bald hair, what he has done, okay. Now, me creating, okay, creating all these jar files, giving it to you, you copying it in your database, it's not working. So what he has done, he has created a web services for this get products. Not for all the methods, but only for this method called get products that you wanted it, okay, that this guy wanted it, so he has created a web service for that. Now the web service is still it is still lying on your app server only, and is still referring to your database only. Now, whenever this piece of code which is lying on your on this guy's data wants to get the products, what it will do? It will create or it will make a call to this web service. Saying that, oh, I want the list of products. Then it will understand that request saying that, oh, do you want the list of products? Okay, wait, hang on. So it will run that piece of code. Which will give you all the list of products. Now this web service has all the list of products. Will have all the list of products, and it will send that list of products to the app server. Now you, without having the actual piece of code, without having the database for that, have all the list of products. Okay, or this guy with the hair has all the products. All he has done is he made a call to the web service, and the web service has responded back with all the list of products. Okay, now you have all the list of products. You don't have the piece of code, you don't have the database, but you still have the list of products with you now on your app server. Sumati, are we clear so far? Okay, what about others? I really want you to understand this, because for me it took really lots of efforts to understand this. What about others, guys? What about others?
Kumar, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just for the developers, right?
Yes.
Anybody in the, okay, so as a performance tester or as a load runner specialist, are we going to be doing any of this, like as far
No.
as like
No, we don't.
putting the codes and stuff?
We don't do anything. All we do is we do the performance testing, how fast it is. Okay. From here, you made a call to this get products, how fast the request went in, and how far this piece of code got executed, and how fast it got fetched the data from it and gave back to you. You check the performance of that. So again, we don't even know what is happening inside and all that. But just for your understanding, I'll show you as a performance testing exactly what you do. But I want you to understand what is going on behind the scenes. But you don't do any of this. Okay. So others, guys, we have Kiran, Kausalya, Krishna, Kumar, Meli. Meli already has a question. Phil, Rahana, Rahul, Revant, Srivalli. Okay. This is mainly for Srivalli, so I'll be using this name Srivalli again and again. So Srivalli, did you get the point here? I know you are doing manual testing for these web services. Do you understand, what is happening here?
Yeah, Kumar, I got it. I already did all this testing before.
Okay. So you know all these things, right? How the web services work behind the scenes?
Yeah, all these things.
Okay.
And I also did one script like import Wisdom and SAPGUI, because in US most of companies use SAPGUI only compared to REST.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Now let's see the bigger picture, guys. Let's see the bigger picture. Okay. Now let's assume. Okay. This is what do I say? Okay. And now I have to draw a completely new picture now. Okay. So now let's go back to, I have left you hanging somewhere, okay, on the slide share. So let me go back to that one. Okay. Now this is your slide share app server. Okay. So this is your slide share app server. Okay. So those questions, there are certain questions which are not relevant at this point of time. I'll answer that questions later, but whatever we are discussing at this point of time, if you have any questions on that, please ask me. But there are some questions which may not be little relevant at this point of time. I'll take that questions offline after the class. Okay. So Kumar, I'll definitely take those questions. Okay. So this is the slide share app server. Okay. This is the slide share app server. Okay. Okay, hang on 1 second. Okay, let me draw this picture this way. So let's say this is your LinkedIn. Okay, let me call this as LinkedIn. Okay, so let's say this is your LinkedIn. Okay, this is your LinkedIn app server. Okay, this is your LinkedIn app server. Here there is a method called login. Okay, let's say there is a method called login, and this is pointing to the LinkedIn database. Now here is where we have the slide share app server. Okay, this is my slide share app server. This is your slide share app server. Okay, it has its own login method. I don't have an issue. Okay, it has its own login method. Okay, which is pointing to its database. Okay, so from the front end, if you're logging in with the slide share username and password, so what will happen? Okay, this is the front end. Okay, watch carefully, guys. This is the front end. This is me. Okay, this is me, Kumar. Okay, this is Kumar. Okay, who's trying to access the slide share from the Chrome browser. This is your Chrome browser. Okay, now I said www.slideshare.com. Okay, I said www.slideshare.com. Okay. Now if I'm trying to log in with the SlideShare username and password, okay, the request obviously goes to this method. This method will access this database and it will do all that, and finally it will respond back to me. I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue. But in case if I said I wanted to log in with LinkedIn, okay, if I wanted to say I wanted to log in with LinkedIn, I wanted to say, now Kumar, what did he say? He didn't use the SlideShare username and password, but he has used LinkedIn username and password. He has used LinkedIn username and password. Now let's see what is happening. Okay. Now what this naughty guy Kumar has done. Oh, I will not use SlideShare. Okay. I'll not use SlideShare. I'll use the LinkedIn username and password. So that's what he has done. Now what it will do, the request will go to this SlideShare app server. It will realize that, oh, it is something related to the LinkedIn. Okay. Now your application over here will send the request to the LinkedIn app server. Okay. So this could be problem. Okay. This is the LinkedIn app server. Okay. But now what LinkedIn would have done, the LinkedIn would have created a web service for this login. Because you cannot directly consume this code. It has to be done through the web service. So now your request, this is your SlideShare application or your SlideShare piece of code, has sent the request to the LinkedIn app server. Now the LinkedIn app server, that too a web service, the web service for the login, the request will go there. Now the LinkedIn web service will understand that you wanted to log in, you wanted to execute the login piece of code. It will go and execute the login piece of code. So whatever the username and password that you have given over here will be passed on over here. Okay. Now it will take that username and password. It will check its database. Okay. And if everything is good, okay, it will send it back saying that, oh, the username password is good. You will be able to log in and blah, blah, blah. So now it will allow you to log into the application. So this is what the web services will do the job for you. And this is how you are able to, even though you are on the SlideShare, you are still able to log in with your LinkedIn. This is how it's actually happening behind the scenes. So what LinkedIn would have created, LinkedIn would have done a login web service, and then the SlideShare has consumed that login web service. Okay. Are we clear, guys? Are we clear? All of you? Okay. The whole picture you got it, right? The whole picture. Wonderful. Okay. Now, okay. So Samir is asking a question. Let me see the question. Do we have a piece of code which allows to share data between LinkedIn, okay, and SlideShare? Okay. Do we have a piece of code? Okay. I'm coming to that. Now, okay. Now this is your LinkedIn application or LinkedIn class files or the methods. Okay. It needs to consume this login web services. This can be done using a file called. Okay. Any guesses? This can be done using a file called. Any guesses? Okay. Using something called visited file. Okay. Now the web services. Now your SlideShare application needs to consume this web service. It is not just possible like that. Okay. So this when the LinkedIn guys has created this web service, created the web service for login, they have also created a visitor file. Using this visitor file, you can consume this. Okay. The visitor file is more like an index to your book. Okay. You open any book. Do you have something called index? Okay. Do you have something called index, guys? When you open a book or when you start reading the book, you have something called index. So what does that index will do? Or how does that index will help you? Or table of contents is some people call it. Index is what some people call it. So that table of contents, how will it help you, guys? Okay, it will give you all the chapters names. First of all, it will give you what all the chapters that are there. Okay, and it will give you the page numbers. It will give you some maybe little bit information about the chapter and all that. So if somebody wants to read the book, first they will open that table of contents. Probably they will see what those table of contents are, and probably they will see the page number, and they can open the book and see. Typically, if you wanted to use the web services of this LinkedIn, just like you have the table of contents, they have a WSDL file. In this WSDL file, they will tell you like what all the methods which are available, okay, how to use them, what all the variables that you need to pass, and all that information will be available in the WSDL file, so that you can start consuming it. Okay, so that you can start, when I said you, the SlideShare app starts consuming it. So see it as a table of contents. If you have a book, you have to read a book. For the human, if you want to read a book, you have a table of contents. If my application, if SlideShare application has to use this web service, it can use it using the WSDL file. It can use it using the WSDL file. As the name suggests, it's a web service description language. It is describing what's there on the web service. It is describing what's there on the web service. So if someone wants to use the web services, okay, it is possible using WSDL file. It is possible using the WSDL file. Again, what is a WSDL file? Okay, web service description language. Okay, as the name suggests, okay, what is there, it is describing what is there in that particular web service. Okay, it is describing what is there in that particular web service. So if you wanted to use that web service, okay, you have to have the description language. Now you see, one code is using another code. Okay, now this web service, these services are used by another code. So since these services are not used by the humans directly, it is used by another code. We can peacefully call this as web services. Now you see, this piece of code is used by another code or used by the humans directly. Can you please tell me, guys, this piece of code or this services, this service called login, is used by another piece of code or is used by the human? Can you please tell me, any of you? This service called login is used by another piece of code or is used by the humans directly? It is used by another piece of code. That is the reason why we call it as a web service. So now you go back to my definition, you will clearly understand. Okay, if the services are made available for human consumption directly, then that is a web application. Okay, if the services are made available for the code consumption, that is the web services. It's as simple as that. Okay, but this login method is directly used by the human here. So this one is a web application. So this is a web application. But this login piece of code, which is converted, this login piece of code over here is used by another piece of code. So these services are used by another piece of code. So this is a web service. This is a web service. Are we clear, guys? All of you? Are we clear so far? Are we clear, all of you? Okay, wonderful, guys. So now even though it is not required, but I'll go a little bit and explain certain topics. Okay, so this, let me call this as page 5. Okay, if somebody needs at the end of the class, I know this is all scribbling, nobody will understand this, but still if somebody is interested, okay, maybe I'll give it to them. Okay, if there are no demand for that, I'll save it with myself. Okay, now page 6. Yes, the WSDL file is actually exposing the methods. It is telling me how many methods are there, how can I use it. For using a method, you have to give an input. In this case, for using this method called login, you have to send the username and password. Okay, so that I can consume this web service. So the WSDL file will tell you what all the input arguments that you have to send, or what all the input data that you have to send, what all the methods are there, how to use it, and all that is available on the WSDL file. So now this app server can consume that web services. Yes, Samir, that's what you said. What you said is absolutely right. Okay. Just like the table of contents will help you, or in this book how many chapters are there, in which chapter what is there, and if I have to go which page number I have to go, everything it is giving here also. If I have to use this method, what is the inputs that I have to give and how can I use it, and blah blah blah, it's all provided in the visitor file. If it's a Java, it's called interfaces. Okay, if you have heard about it, but I don't want it to bring all the technical jargon here because people get confused. If you have any idea about Java, Samir, it is exactly like your interfaces. Okay. Okay. So let's not go a little more technical into it, because we please do understand that there are people who are completely new to all these terminologies and this one. Okay. If there are any deep questions, Samir, okay, we'll take it offline. Okay, because some people might lose the confidence. Already I'm telling more than what is required for performance testers. Okay, but let's go, however we are discussing, let's go deeper and let's try to understand all of it. Okay, so do you need a break, guys? Do you need a break at this point of time? I think it's been 1 hour. Do you need a break? I'm just asking you, all of you, do you need a break? Once I come back, there's a very, very interesting topic called interoperability. Okay, again, as a performance tester, you need not have to know about this interoperability, but it's a very, very interesting topic. Okay, you will be amazed where we are right now, what kind of incredible things which are happening behind the scenes. Okay, I'll just talk about interoperability and then I'll stop there. Okay, I'll talk about WSDL file, how the WSDL file will be. It is in XML, and why it is in XML. I'll talk about that, and why the communication is there in the XML. I'll talk about it, and I'll stop here. Okay, you see the communication is happening in XML. Why it is happening in XML also, I'll cover that one, and then trust me, we'll get into performance testing. Okay, but this background will help you. What I believe strongly is this background will help you strongly when you go to interviews and when you talk about it. Okay, so once you have a clear picture as to what is web services, in the interviews you can go and talk about these things much more confidently. That is the only reason why it is. And people who have understood vaguely, please go and watch this video again and again. Okay, this one and a half again and again. It is getting recorded, hopefully, fingers crossed. It is getting recorded. Yes, I'm not going to pause it this time around. Okay, if I pause it again, sometimes if I forget, it's a problem. Okay, I'm going to take a 10 minutes break, guys, and once I come back, I'll talk about interoperability and then why the WSDL file is created in XML and the communication is happening in XML. Then we're going to go ahead and use the first WSDL file. Okay, and start using it. Okay, wonderful, guys. So guys, are you able to hear it? Guys, are you able to hear me? Can one of you please confirm? Okay, so wonderful. Okay, so there is some chat which is going on. Let me see, what is it? Samir said it's a monitoring tool. I don't know what that answer is for. Okay. Okay guys, so let's get started now. So far it is clear guys. Is it interesting as to what is going on? Is it interesting for all of you? Do you find it interesting? Yeah. So now let's look into this web services. Okay. Okay. Now we go back to the same example wherein it's, come on. Let me delete that. Okay. So we'll go to the same example. Okay. Of that LinkedIn. Okay. So this is the LinkedIn app server. I'll say it as AS1. Okay. Which is belonging to LinkedIn. And this is the SlideShare app server, which is app server 2. Let me call it as app server 2. This could be in two different geographical locations, guys. As I've told you, this could be in New York and this could be in London, maybe. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, this could be in London. Okay, two different geographical locations, it doesn't really matter. Okay, this could be in London. Okay, now this is my app server 1. This is my app server 2. Okay, so now here we have a login web service. Okay, of the LinkedIn login web service. Okay, so for this one we have created a web service. Okay, so that the piece of code or the class files or the jar files or the piece of code or simply word, my application can consume this web service, and it is consumed using a file called WSDL file. Using a file called WSDL file, it will be able to consume it so that it can start providing the services back to this app server. Since these services are given to a code, you're calling this as a web service. Services are given to a piece of code, you're calling it as web services. Okay, so you're able to, it is possible for you to use this piece of code or consume by using something called WSDL file. Now, when I talk about interoperability, what I mean is, let's say this whole thing is developed in Java. Okay, this whole thing is developed in Java and this whole thing is developed in .NET. Okay, so for a .NET application, it is still possible to consume the login web service. Okay, so that's the beauty of this particular web services. Once you create these web services, okay, it becomes technology independent, which means that an application which is developed in Java can consume these web services, or in other words, can use these web services, or in other words, you will be able to execute the login piece of code which is developed in Java by an application which is in .NET, Okay, are we clear, guys? Are we clear? This is what we call it as interoperability. Okay, so not only .NET, let's say there is another application that I have created. Let's say this is in C++. Okay, I have some piece of code which is developed in C++, and this is the app server 2, app server 3, which is in India. Now, even me, I can call this web services, so I'll get the response back. So, irrespective of the technology, this web services which is developed in Java can be used by applications which is probably a .NET application or a C++ application or a Python application, or a matter of fact, any application can consume this web service. Or vice versa is not also possible. Let's say it's a .NET application and you have created a web service for this one. A Java application can consume it, or a C++ application can consume it. Okay, or which means that I can, from the application which I have developed in C++ can send a request to this web service which is in .NET, and the web service will be able to reply back to me. So this is where we have reached a place wherein the technology with which you have developed, it doesn't matter anymore. Okay, doesn't matter anymore. So possibly when you get into your companies, okay, you see certain piece of code, I mean certain app servers running on Java, certain things running on .NET, certain things running on C++, but they are still able to communicate with each other because you have this technology of web services. Of this technology of web services. Are we clear, guys? Are we okay with this point? This is what we call it as interoperability. This is what we call it as interoperability. Okay, I know this is a little overwhelming and confusing, but you know, we cannot escape. We need to understand all this. As a performance tester, all this that I'm telling you, you need not have to understand. I know a lot of performance testers who are doing 5, 6, or even 7 years. They don't know all this inside story. They will be given a WSDL file. They will take the WSDL file and then they will go ahead and test it. Even if you're capable of doing that, it is fine. I will show you how to do that. For doing that, all this background is not required. But if you have this background, you feel so comfortable. You know all the things which is happening behind the scenes. That is the only reason why I'm telling you all this. Okay, are we clear, guys? Are we clear, all of you? Okay, I'll take that as is. Any questions, anything, please let me know, guys. I'll try to answer with the best of my capabilities. Okay, now coming back, okay, let's look at this. You know, let's say it's a piece of code in Java. You have created a web service, and how this let's say it is consumed by application which is in .NET, how it is able to do it. So let me open another piece of, let me open another page and let me draw that. Okay, so watch carefully, guys. Now, come on, hang on, guys. So I'm a little new to using this, so it's a little overwhelming for me. Okay, so yeah, now you see, this is my login. This is my login. Okay, now you created a web service. You have created a web service for this one. Okay, and now this is consumed by my .NET application. Let's say it is consumed by my .NET application. Okay, the problem with this one is, you see, this is in Java. Okay, this is in Java. Okay, this is .NET. How can a .NET application talk to Java? It is not possible. Okay, because Java has their own set of standards when there are some variables, you know, the objects like the string object or something like that, and maybe an array object, or you know, strings, you know, it has its own variables, it has its own style and all that. So how can a .NET application understand all of that? It is not possible. So what they came out with is, we need this web service that we develop that should be understood universally. That should be understood universally. Or the web service that you create can be understood by any technology, can be understood by any application, whether it's a .NET application or a C application or a C++ application or a Python application. Any application, any programming language should be able to understand this web service. So which means that the web service has to be created in such a way that, okay, it can be understood universally. Okay, it can be understood universally. So the universally understood languages are, any idea, guys? The universally understood language is XML. Okay, is XML. Okay, the universally understood language is XML. Okay, it can be understood from any, it can be understood from any programming language can understand an XML. Maybe a .NET, maybe a C, maybe a C++, maybe a Python, maybe a Java. Anybody, any programming language can understand this XML. So that is the reason why Okay, let me, I need one more line here. The WSDL files. Okay, by the way, this .NET application is consuming this web service using the WSDL file. So these WSDL files are typically in the XML language. WSDL files are typically in the XML language. Okay, so this is created in the XML so that my .NET application can understand this WSDL file, or C++, Python, or web services itself. You can say it will be in the XML so that everything, every application can understand this one. So typically, your web services are created in the XML, or WSDL files are created in the web services. XML language. Why XML, guys? Why XML? Can somebody answer? Why XML? Why XML? It is universally understood language. That is the reason why any kind of programming language can understand an XML. That is the reason why web services are created in the XML. Web services are created in the XML. Okay. Not only these WSDL files are created, the communication that is happening is also in XML, especially for SOAP. What we are discussing so far is a SOAP. Okay, we started with the SOAP, right? For the SOAP, the communication also happens in the XML. Not only the web services are created in the XML, but the communication between this .NET and these web services, the .NET and the web services also happens in the XML only. But because this is a different world, so XML is the only language wherein it converts those worlds, or it can combine those worlds, or is possible. So that is the reason why the communication also happens in the XML for this SOAP request. But for the other ones, which is REST, the communication not only supports XML but the other languages as well, other modes of communication as well, which is JSON, HTML, XML, and plain text also. It has the capability. But for this SOAP, it is a strict protocol. For the SOAP, it's a strict protocol. Protocol means what? Set of rules. It's a strict set of rules that not only the web services needs to be created in XML, but the communication needs to happen in the XML as well. The communication needs to happen in the XML as well. The communication between your .NET application and the web services, the communication, the data that you send from the .NET to the web services, that should be in XML, and the XML should respond back the .NET, that should be in the XML as well. That should be in the XML as well. So basically, it's called a SOAP protocol. Basically, it's called a SOAP protocol. Protocol is set of rules. The rule is what? The rule is what? The communication needs to happen in the XML. Not only that rule, the web services needs to be created in the XML. Not only that rule, there are some securities, SSLs that you need to follow. So like this, they have defined a lot of set of rules for this SOAP protocol. And one of the rule is the communication needs to be happened in the XML, and web services needs to be created in the XML, and the web services needs to follow some security standards so that your web services is secured. So like this, there are a lot of set of rules that are being created, and that's what, and those set of rules is nothing but protocol. And here we are calling this as a SOAP protocol. We are calling it as a SOAP protocol. Later on, we'll discuss about the RESTful protocol as well, or REST. We don't call that as a protocol because it is not following any set of rules. So we will look at the REST web services as well, but that's a little later, maybe tomorrow. Okay. So first thing is WSDL file is in XML. The communication happens in the XML for the SOAP protocol. Okay. Are we clear, guys? Now is the time wherein we can go and open our first web service. Okay. So, okay. Now, web services can be accessed via what? Okay. If .NET needs to use this web service, how can it use it? By using this WSDL file. If a C++ application has to use this web service, how can it use it? Using the WSDL file. If I have to use this web service, okay, how can I use it? If I have to use this web service, okay, how can I use it? Using again the WSDL file. Okay, it is not for the human consumption. Okay, definitely, but definitely I can open this WSDL file and I can see what is there. Okay, so Now, as a performance tester, I wanted to you access this web service. I want to access this web service. How can I access this web service? Using the WSDL file. So any web services should have the WSDL file. Any web services should have the WSDL file. So if I have to access it, I'll have to use it using the WSDL file. So now I'm going to show you, okay, the first WSDL file. Okay, I'm going to open and show you the WSDL file. Okay, if I have to access the web service, again it is through WSDL only, so I'll access this WSDL. I will access the web service using the WSDL file. Okay, now before I proceed any further, okay, and start showing it, I'll tell you one anecdote. Okay, I will show you an anecdote, or I will give you a small story, okay, about what has happened. Okay, so when I moved back to India from US, okay, I worked for a very small company called S28. Okay, so I was heading the testing department, and then there's a dear friend of mine who was heading the development department, and he has to create, okay, this is the first time I have heard about web services. Okay, so he has to create an application. Okay, he has to create an application, okay, for internal purposes, for our company purposes, internal purposes, okay, for chatting. So we can use this application for applying leaves, okay, for chatting purposes, okay, and providing updates for the company, provide updates of the company. Okay, like this, there are a lot of things we have used this application for. Okay, the application that this developer is developing, okay, that application is for the internal purpose for our own company, and these are the different services wherein we are using it for. And like this, there are a lot of them. Okay, like this, the application is used for a lot of services. Okay, now what this guy is, a developer, is a very smart guy. Okay, what this guy has done is, for chatting purposes, he has not created, okay, this application should allow chatting as well, so he has not written any methods for that, any methods, okay, for this service called chatting. He has not written any methods. Okay, he has not written any methods for that. Okay, or in other words, he has not written any he has not written any code for that, any code for this chatting. Okay, so what he has done is, okay, he went to something called UDDI. Okay, and there people already created the piece of code for chatting. There are a lot of people who have created, okay, methods or piece of code for chatting. Okay, and they also converted that to web services. Okay, and that they provide that WSDL file. They provided that WSDL file in this website, or in this thing called UDDI. Okay, so are we getting it, guys? There's somebody in some other part of the world, they have already created methods for this chatting, and they have implemented the web services for that, or they converted that to the web services, which means that there is a WSDL file, and they put the WSDL file on the UDDI. Now, my developer, instead of writing his own piece of code for the chatting, what he has done is, he has consumed this web services, which is written by somebody else for the chatting program, using this WSDL file. He just called that consumer. He just consumed that WSDL file, and that's it. Now the chatting is ready. He just added that piece of code. It's all ready. So that's how simple the world has become. How simple the world has become. And the beauty about it is, it's not one guy who has created. It's not one guy who has created methods for chatting, converted that to web services, putting on WSDL file. There are lots of developers. Okay, created methods or their own piece of code for chatting, okay, and then converted to the web services, and then expose that WSDL file using the UDDI. Okay, expose that web services using the UDDI. UDDI is basically the yellow pages for web services, guys. You can consider this as a yellow pages of web services. Okay, so if you wanted to search anything, any web service that you wanted to use it, you go to UDDI, it's an yellow pages, and you search for chatting. It will show you all the web services which are out there for chatting, and you can take the WSDL file of that, whatever you like, you take that WSDL file, and start consuming that piece of code. So you need not have to write even a single piece of code for chatting. Okay, you go to UDDI, you shop around for free. Again, you need not have to pay a single rupee. You shop around you shop around. Oh, I want for chatting functionality. You shop around for chatting functionality. You say chatting. There are probably 10 developers who have already written the code for chatting and converted that to web services and exposed the digital file. Whatever you like, whichever the code you like, you just take the WSDL file, you bind your application to it, which means that you can start using the chatting functionality. Like this, not only chatting, we can do it for login, we can do it for lot of stuff. Okay, lot of stuff. In your companies, we call this as third-party services. Okay, so third-party, okay, third-party functionality or third-party services. Okay, which means that your developers of your company has not created that piece of code. Somebody has created it and you guys have consumed it. Somebody has created it and you guys have consumed it. So are you clear with this, guys? Are you clear what is this guy developer has done it? Okay, so for applying leave, he has done it for himself. For providing updates of the company, he has written the code for himself. But chatting, he didn't written the code for himself. He went and he consumed the web services which are created by somebody else. He just consumed it. Okay, using the WSDL file. And how did he know that, who has created and all that? He need not have to know. He went to these yellow pages of web services. He searched for chatting, and there are so many people who would have created it. He said, oh, I like this one. Let me use this one. This seems to have better rating and people are using it. So let me use it using the WSDL file. He has just binded it to it and started using that particular piece of code. Are you clear this one? Are you clear with this one? Or at least, you got a picture as to how people are using it. I hope this little anecdote help you to how the web services are being used now. Okay. Somebody has asked me, Kumar has asked me this question. Why is it free? This is the main reason why it is free. Somebody who's coding freak has created it there and he wants the whole world to use it. So what he has done, he has converted that to web services or implemented a web services for that piece of code, and he has exposed the WSDL file so that the whole world can use it. Okay. Similarly over here, the LinkedIn people have created a web service for login and given it to SlideShare people, given it to so many people. Not only this, but so many people, they would have created it. Okay, and I show you one more example where these web services are used, okay, which you regularly use it. You and me regularly use it. Okay, so let me add something to add to the cart. Okay, proceed to checkout. Hopefully I'll not go and buy this one. Okay, now you see, let me pay it with my any bank which is popular in US. I am sure I don't know any bank which is popular in US and is there in this list. There is no Bank of America. There is no Citibank. Is there a Citibank here? ABCD. There's no Citibank here. City Union Bank is here. Okay, so you see, the popular bank which is in India is HDFC, guys, or ICICI. Okay, so I hope people in US, they wouldn't have heard about it. Maybe what I'll do, I'll go to Amazon.com and order something. Okay, so let me go to Amazon.com and then try to order something. Okay, let me go to Amazon.com and probably I'll try to add this laptop. Okay, add to cart. Okay, proceed to checkout. Okay, add. Okay, now maybe I'll say deliver to this address. Okay, hopefully it will show. Okay, maybe it doesn't. They don't ship it to India, I believe. They don't ship it to India. How can I show it to you now? Okay, so let me go with what I have here in India. Okay. Okay. So watch here. I know I'm using your time, guys. At the same time, I'm using my time as well. Okay. So you see, I say add to cart. Okay. Now you see proceed to checkout. Okay. Okay. Now you see, now you can make a payment. I'm making a payment with some bank called ICICI Bank. Once you say that and continue, okay, okay. Now hopefully this order will not be placed. Okay. Is there a way to delete something? No. Okay. Let me go ahead and order. What's a big deal? Okay. So I can always cancel it. You see, now you see, you are redirecting it to ICICI Bank. Okay. You're redirecting it to ICICI Bank. Okay. Now the page will go to ICICI. You see, you enter the username, password, and all that, and then then finally once the payment is done, all that information will be sent back to your Amazon. So without your knowledge, you are using web services at so many places. Without your knowledge, you are using web services at so many places. That is one place. The ICICI Bank has created the web service. The ICICI Bank, okay, ICICI Bank in this case, okay, has created the web service, okay, and given it to Amazon. So Amazon has created a web service, which means that there is a WSDL file. Using this WSDL file, okay, my Amazon website consumes this WSDL file, which means that from their website, now you can make the payment to ICICI. So this web service which ICICI Bank has done, this is the WSDL file. It can be used by Amazon. It can be used by eBay. It can be used by maybe Book My Show in India. It's popular for booking the tickets. Okay, can be used by any flight when you want to book a flight. What is that flight? Book a flight. Okay, book a flight. What are the popular websites for booking the flight? Can somebody tell me in US what is the popular websites for booking the flight? Maybe Make My Trip is in India, very famous. Expedia, okay, Expedia, very popular in US. So all these websites can use this WSDL file which ICICI Bank has created, so that the payment can be directly done on the ICICI Bank. Okay, so like this, at multiple places we are using these web services without the knowledge. Logging in, I've already shown you for the WSDL file on the slide share. Okay, on the slide share you're logging with either Facebook or LinkedIn, which means that it is possible using web services. Okay, here also from these websites and more websites, you are able to make a payment on ICICI or a Citibank, or matter of fact, or a Bank of America. Okay, it is possible. All this is possible using the web services. Okay. So please mute yourself, guys, unless you have a question.
Bye.
Okay. Yes. Now, okay. So, okay. Now, I hope that kind of story kind of gave you an idea as to where all these web services are being used. But if still didn't understood this story, anecdote and all that, but the theory part that I have told you, if you understood, it's still fine. Even that you didn't understood, it's still fine. We're going to use the WSDL file. Only thing that you need to know is, if you want to access the web services, you can access the web services using the WSDL file. Okay. So there are some WSDL files which are available. Okay. So I'm going to use one of them. Okay. So let me see. I'm going to show you the WSDL file. Hang on, I've stored it somewhere. So let me see where I've stored it. Hang on, I need to search for that. The web service. Okay. I think Srivali, I have sent that WSDL file to you, I believe, some time back. You asked for it. So I need to search for that. It's web services. Oh, I think it is web services. Okay. Yeah, this one here. Yes. Okay. So this is the WSDL file. You see, guys, this is the WSDL file which is available. There are a lot of WSDL files which are available. If you do enough research, you can get it. As I've told you, if you go to UDDI, you will be able to get it. But this is something which I can get hold of it. So this is what it is. And you clearly saw, this is the WSDL file, and clearly you can see this is in the XML. Okay. How do you know this is an XML? Whenever you see these tags like this, you see sequence, this is the opening tag, this is the closing tag. How I know it's a closing tag? You have a /. Okay. Complex type, you see this is opening and this is closing. You see this is the complex type. Okay. Like this, usually XMLs will be built like this. Okay. So this WSDL file is a XML file. clearly you are able to see it. But this WSDL files is not for human consumption, so that is the reason why you are able to see like this. If it's a human consumption, basically you will have something called a graphical user interface, right? If it is for a user consumption, it is typically will have a graphical user interface. But this is definitely not for human consumption. That is the reason why you don't have that nice graphics, with all that. Okay, so definitely for human consumption, if it will be graphical user interface. Okay, but this web services is not for human consumption, okay, so definitely you don't have no GUI or graphical user interface, and this is how it looks like. And if I have to access the web services which is created by somebody else, it can be accessed using WSDL file, which you see, this is the WSDL file. And this particular web services could be hosted anywhere. I don't even know where it is hosted, which app server, in which country it is there. But I'm using it now using the web services. I'm using it now using the web services. You see, this WSDL file, you see, there is a web service this WSDL file is representing. That web service, I don't know on which app server it is, who created it. Is that app server is in New York or Denmark? I don't even know that. But I'm accessing it using this web services WSDL file from my desktop. You see, it is little hard to, I mean, there's no graphical user interface and very hard to understand. So that is the reason why you need some tools to watch this WSDL files. You need some tools so that everything is organized and it will show you in a way that is little manageable. Okay, so you can watch it, you can see it from here. Obviously you are able to see it, but to use it in a way that it's a little organized and all that, there are some tools, and the very, very popular tool which is available in the market is SAPGUI. Okay, so for using this web WSDL file, or for better using this WSDL file, for accessing this WSDL file or better using this WSDL file, you need some tools. The tools are SAPGUI, okay, SAPGUI or Postman. Okay, but SAPGUI is popular, so Postman is popular for RESTful, SAPGUI is popular for SOAP. Okay, not that vice versa is not possible. It is possible. Okay, RESTful you can access from SAPGUI, and SOAP you can access from Postman as well. But typically this is how people are using, so that's how I will be using it. So the SAPGUI tool, I'll use it for SOAP. Okay, and RESTful web services, for RESTful web services I'll use Postman. As I've told you at the starting of the class, there are two web services. What all we have discussed so far is SOAP. So for accessing SOAP, the better tool is SAPGUI, and for accessing the rest, the better tool is Postman. Okay, but not that both the SOAP and REST can be accessed from SAPGUI as well as the Postman. Both these can be accessed, both can be used from the Postman, and both these web services can be used from the SAPGUI as well. But this is how people are using it. This is how people are using it. What happened? Hang on. I think I've put my pen somewhere and it is getting confused. Where did I put my pen? Hang on, guys. Just give me a moment. This new the new device that I bought, is making me a little crazy here. Let me search where did I put that one. The pen. Come on. Hang on, guys. 1 second. Just give me a moment. Oh. Just be careful. Okay, let me take away this from here. Where did I put it? Is it in the book? Oh, okay. That is the reason why it is not allowing. Okay, now I get it. Okay. Why this one whole frozen? Let me take it away. Okay. Now this shouldn't have this problem. Okay. Hang on, guys, 1 second. It is not allowing me to do anything here. I don't want to lose all these notes that I've written. Okay. Just give me a moment. Let me close this one in that case. Okay. Let me open it again. Notepad++. Okay, thankfully I have all the information. Okay, now it is allowing me to write. Okay, hang on. Wonderful. Okay, so let's proceed further now. Okay, now using the tool called SOAP UI, I'll be accessing this WSDL file. Okay, so for downloading this SOAP UI, I'll be mailing that. Just that I don't forget. Okay, I'm mailing you right away. Okay. Now for I think it is there where more. Okay, somewhere it should be there. Okay, LoadRunner important. Okay, so this is where it is. Okay, so this is where from where you can download it, guys. I'm forwarding this to you. Okay, you can obviously download from the internet, but they have a latest version. So if you want to use the same version that I am using, you'll be able to get it from here. So I'm sending it to all of you so that you can download it. Okay, so okay, so let me copy that list. Okay, I'm sending it to all of you so that you can download it from here. Okay. Okay. Hi all. Why it is happening like that? It's acting crazy. Okay, no issues. Hi all. Please download SOAP UI using attached file. Okay, it's straight away. As you see, it is a .exe file. Okay, so just download it and then just install it. You will be able to install it, and once you install it, it's straightforward. Once you install it, okay, once you install it, you have it on your desktop. Okay, once you install it and you go back here and you just say SOAP, you will be able to see the SOAP UI. It is not such a big software, guys. It's a pretty small software. Quickly it gets installed. Okay, so now I'm opening the SOAP UI. Again, why I need a SOAP UI? Because you see, once I can see it from here, it's not organized and I cannot do anything with this one. If I wanted to use the WSDL file, I'll not be able to use it from the browser. Browser is for the web application, not for web services. So I can see it what it is, but if I wanted to use it, I cannot, and it's not organized as well, and it's a little tricky. So that's the reason why. It's better you have a software so that you can look at the WSDL file and you can use the WSDL file. Okay, for that's the reason why you have the SOAP UI. So once you open this SOAP UI 5.4.0 version, they might ask you a version as to which SOAP UI you have used. So in the interviews, just note down this version as well, which is 5.4.0. Okay, the SOAP UI version is 5.4.0, but there is a latest version which is available in the market. Okay, if you want, you can use it as well. Okay, so I'm quite comfortable using this version, so let me go with this version. Now you see what is the first thing that you wanted to do, why you have downloaded this SOAP UI, and why you have opened it, so that you can look at the WSDL file. Okay, so right click on it and you say new SOAP project. As I've told you, we can use this SOAP UI for the rest as well, but popularly it is used for the SOAP. Okay, so I just click new SOAP. Okay, so you copy the WSDL file here, copy the URL. Okay, I'm putting this URL over here, guys. Okay, sample WSDL file. Okay, I'll be sending this class notes to you. From here you will be able to get the WSDL file. Okay, so now you paste the WSDL file in the initial WSDL file. You see, paste it over here. Okay, some people call this as an endpoint URL as well. Okay, the WSDL file. Okay, so some people would like to call this as a endpoint URL as well. Okay, so now automatically it gave a project name. If you don't like the project name, you can give it. You say my first WSDL. Okay, so now just click on OK. You create sample request for all the operations. If you want, you can leave it on, let it be there. Yeah, you wanted all the sample operations. Okay, sample request for the operations, click on OK. Now it will take a little bit of time and then it will show you all the services which are available in the WSDL file. You see, there are so many services which are available in the WSDL. Okay, we can basically probably call it as sub-services or something like that. Okay, so just give me a moment, guys. 1 minute, 1 second, please. Oh my God, so let me clean it up. Such a pain in the neck. Okay. Okay, so again I'm telling you, file, new SOAP project, and whatever the URL that you give over here, that is, people call it as an endpoint URL. Some people would like to call it as an endpoint URL, the visual file. Okay, if somebody is calling as an endpoint URL, don't get overwhelmed. Okay, and you see these are all the services. This is a main service, and you can basically call it as a sub services, or these are all the services which are there. Okay, these are all the services which are there. Okay, so let's start understanding each of the service here. Okay, now the performance, we are not even doing the performance testing. Performance testing hasn't even come into picture yet. Okay, we are just trying to see how we can use these digital files, or how we can use these services. We didn't even get to a point wherein we are doing the performance testing, or we have created the first script. Okay, so how to use these web services. Okay, now you see there are so many services. It's not one service. Like you have login, like you have get products and all that. Those are all the services, right? So you have quite a bit of services here. How many of them are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Approximately 20 to 25 services are there. Okay, so let's see what is the first service used for. Okay, so double click on that. Double click on the request. You see this is the request. You see this is the request. Okay, as the name suggests, Words is a capital city. Looks like you give the country name and it will give you the capital city. Probably this service is used for that. Okay, so you see, so here is the request, here is the request, and then here is the XML. Okay, as I've told you, the web service itself needs to be created in the XML. So this is an XML, and the communication also happens in the XML. The communication also happens in the XML. Now you see, let me give a country code. Okay, let me say USA. Okay, let's look at the capital city for the USA. So for that you have to type the USA. Type the USA. Okay, as I've told you, this is not a this is not for human consumption. That's why you don't have proper thing to give it. Okay, so you said USA. Now you run this service. You see, for running the service, you can do it here. Okay, you submit it, and you see for USA, what is the capital city? Clearly see it's a Washington. Okay, so this web service that is there, okay, it will give you the capital city. Okay, so for Ethiopia, okay, what is the short key for Ethiopia, guys? Anybody? ETH maybe? Is that ETH? Okay, so is that the capital city for Ethiopia, guys? Addis Ababa? Can somebody from Ethiopia can tell me? Is that what it is? So guys, anybody from Ethiopia? I know somebody, some of them are in Ethiopia. Okay, so Melly, are you there? Are you still listening? Melly, Susie, okay, Yigram. Okay, so you see, from India, okay, I want to see the capital city for India, IND. Okay, run it. Yeah, I see it, New Delhi, wonderful. Okay, so this web service will give me the capital city. Maybe Australia, if somebody is from Australia, okay, AUS, Australia, run the service and it will give you the capital city for Australia, which is Canberra. Okay, maybe Canada. Anybody from Canada here? Anybody from Canada? Okay, anybody from Canada? It's Ottawa, Ottawa. Okay, see, capital city is Ottawa. So this web service over here, or this service over here, will give you the capital cities. And you see this service, let me see what is this service. Okay, double click on that. What is this service? It says countries using the currency. So probably it will give you all the countries which is using a particular currency. Okay, let's say the currency is Australian dollars, AUD, Australian dollars. Let's see which all the countries which are using Australian dollars. Obviously, Australia is using the Australian dollars. Cocos Island is using the Australian dollar. Christmas Islands is using the Australian dollar. Kiribati, okay, some North Flag Islands, Naura. All these countries are using the Australian dollars. Okay, maybe US dollars, okay, USD. Let's see which all countries are using the US dollars, USD. Oh, there's a whole bunch of countries using the US dollars. So, American Samoa, Ecuador, I don't know what that country is, Goma, Marshall Islands, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, Pola, Turks and Caicos Islands, and United States of minor outlying islands, and finally the United States itself. Okay, and Virgin Islands, which is part of British, and Virgin Islands, which is part of US. All these countries uses USD. I didn't even know that USD is used by so many countries. Maybe INR. INR is Indian rupees, guys. I'm interested to see which all countries are using INR. I think it's only India. Yeah, only India. Okay, so like this web service will give me all the countries which are using currencies. Like this will give me the flags, this will give me the country currencies, this give me phone codes. Okay, this probably will give me a phone code. I wanted a phone code for, let's say, USA. Maybe it's, I think, 001. Yeah, 1, you see. Okay, if I wanted the phone code for Canada, okay. So somebody from other countries are calling Canada, again you have to use 1 only. If somebody from other countries is calling India, let me see what is the phone code for India. Okay, it is 91. Okay, you see it is 91. So like this, different services are being built for using different purposes. Okay, so again, this is not for human consumption, this is for code consumption. So if you have build your application, and in your application you wanted to print out all the phone codes based on the country, you can probably call this web service. Then your website will print out. If the guy will select a country, then it will print out the country code. Okay, maybe you can consume it in your website, these web services. Okay, so are we clear, guys? Are we clear? Are we clear so far? Okay, what I've done. Okay, so let me delete this one so that I'll go from the first. Okay, do you want to save the project? No. Okay, what I've done, I've created a SOAP project. Okay, and I have the web WSDL file. For performance testing, they will typically give the WSDL file. If you have to do the performance testing, this is what they will give you. They call it as an endpoint URL as well. You copy it, give a project name. Okay, so then click on OK. It will take a little bit of time to pull out all that, and it will show you all the services which are available in the WSDL file. Most likely than not, it might have multiple services, so you can start using each of those service. Okay, each service have appropriate naming. Okay, so that you get a ballpark, person who is using it, they get a ballpark idea as to what that web service is. So this service is for the capital city. You enter the country, it will give you the capital city. Okay, so this is how you can use it. You can enter the country, and in the results you will be able to see the capitals. Like this, you can use all the services which are out there. Okay, this is how you can use it in the using the SOAP. Okay, now we have to use it for performance testing. Now we have to do the performance testing. Okay, so watch carefully what I'm doing this. Okay, you want to take, can I take a 5 minutes break, guys? I know people in US, it's already midnight. Okay, but do you want to leave? Are we done? I mean, can we have half an hour more so that I'll show you how to create a script in Vugen for this web service? It will take just 15 more minutes or maybe 30 more minutes. Or do you want to do it tomorrow? How do you want to do it, guys? Whatever is possible, we'll take this week, and then we'll push the thing to the next week if required. Tomorrow also there is a class, but I want to hear from all of you. Okay, do you want me to continue, or it's way too much information for today? Ikram says continue, Kausalya says continue, Krishna says tomorrow, sir. Okay, I want to hear from all of you guys, please. You want to continue? Yeah, Srivali says it's already 11:15 in USA. So Melly says tomorrow. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow. So tomorrow at sharp 8 o'clock India time we will meet, guys. Okay. So Srivali, please continue tomorrow. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. So we'll meet at the time. Let me give you the timings, guys. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue. Let me give you the timings. It is 8 a.m. Okay, 8 a.m. IST for Indian students. Obviously, IST means it's an Indian students. Okay. Okay, for US, 8 a.m. will be what? 9:30, I believe, EST. Okay, 8 a.m. IST to EST. Okay, so it will be 9:30 p.m. Okay, so 9:30 p.m. EST. Okay, so this will be 9:30 p.m. EST. This is for US students. Okay, other students, they can convert to their time zones, and please join around that time. Okay, so agenda for tomorrow. So we already have the background now. We understood what are web services, how many kinds of web services are there, and how to look at these web services. We understood there is a WSDL file, and how to look at the WSDL file from SAPGUI software. Okay, so the agenda for tomorrow is we'll create scripts in Vugen using the WSDL file. Okay, there are multiple ways. We look at least 2 of the ways. Okay, maybe 2 to 3 ways we'll look at it. Okay, there are 2 to 3 ways we can create the script. We look at all the 2 to 3 ways. This is for the SOAP only, guys. We are still in the SOAP. Okay, so maybe next week is when we will do the rest, is what I'm believing. Okay, but this week we'll complete the SOAP, and rest is actually very, very simple. It will take only 1 or 1.5 hours. So we'll do it the next week. Okay, so this is what it is. Now fine. Okay, now what is the assignment? What is the assignment? Okay, this WSDL file which I have given you, the WSDL file that which I have given you. First assignment: install SAPGUI and okay, open the WSDL file. Open the WSDL file using this tool called SAPGUI tool. Okay, and start playing around. Okay, start playing around with all the services which you have. Okay, all the services, or at least 10 of the services which you have. Take the screenshots of it. I wanted to see the result. Let's say you're using this capital city. Okay, I don't care what is that you have given, but what is the output? Okay, what is the output? Take the screenshot of this and send it to me. I want you to play around with at least 5 to 6 web services with different inputs. Okay, send those screenshots as a onto that email, onto my email, so that I know that you have done the assignment. Okay, play around with some sample services. Play around with the web services. Okay, in the sub services or web services. Okay, play around with the sub services. Okay, so this is the assignment for today, guys. Anybody who is not working, I expect the assignment to be done. Okay, there are some people who are really, they are working for their living and they are not able to pull the time to do the assignment. I totally understand. But others, okay, so others, they have to do it, which means that Kiran, Kausalya, Krishna Prasad, Krishna is working. Okay, Krishna Prasad, Kumar, Rahana, okay, Rupa is working, but you still have to do it. Sagar, Satish, Shraddha, okay, Shiva, Sumati, Igra. So I'm expecting all you guys to do the assignment. Okay, expecting all of you to do the assignment. And once you're comfortable, it will take hardly 5 to 10 minutes. But once you're comfortable, then it will become that much easy to create the scripts. Okay. So on that note, I'm taking off, guys. So if you have any questions, you can stay back and ask those questions to me. And assignments from the previous class, I will look it on Tuesday, guys. When the regular classes starts, that's when I look into your assignments. Okay. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Please unmute yourself and you can speak. Okay. Satish has a question. Sir, tomorrow I have to go to office at 8 a.m. So please record and send tomorrow's class. I will go through the recording later. Wonderful, Satish. I'll certainly do that. Sumati, do we need to create scripts in SAPGUI using Ruby language for PT? No. Okay. So is it done? I'm not quite sure, but I know how to do it with LoadRunner using Vugen. Okay. But if you know how to do it, certainly you can do it. Okay. But that's not part of the class. Sumati, can you unmute yourself and give a little more light on what you said? Can you throw some light on that, Sumati?
Sir, in SAPGUI,
sorry, I'm not able to hear you. In SAPGUI?
in SAPGUI, we use Groovy language to create scripts. So that we need to create in performance testing.
No. That's not how it is done. Maybe that's a possibility. I'm not sure, but I haven't explored. Usually, in the Vugen, you will create the scripts using both a web HTTP HTML protocol. You can do it, or web services protocol. You can do it. Both those ways, I'll show it to you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Okay. But if you have Jmeter also, it's actually very, very simple. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Okay, so there are no more questions, so I'll take off, guys. So meet you tomorrow. Okay, so at the same time, the time that has been told to you. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you for joining and making this a huge success. I'm so happy that there are 23 students who have joined this weekend class. I'm really, really overwhelmed. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, guys.